My name is Mark Shastine. I'm the Vice President of Automotive for CTDI. I'm joined by two of my colleagues. On my right, Joe Bendinelli is the Vice President, Strategic Business Development. On my left, Jim O'Hara is the Vice President of Marketing.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to thank everyone for calling in, and sorry for the technical difficulties here. Okay, before I begin to, I guess what I'd like to do is begin the presentation, and we're having an issue with the slides turning here. Let me begin by basically asking a question. And the question, or really a challenge, is for vehicle electronics. They're providing or presenting an increasingly difficult challenge for the automotive car care network. By some counts, the electronic content in cars is now up to 40% of the total component content, and that's expected to grow as more features are added for safety, comfort, fuel economy, convenience, and so on. And the question is, who's going to provide a service model? And obviously for the independent network and also for the out-of-warranty repairs, that's an extremely difficult challenge, and it's going to get worse. One answer to that is CTDI. We are introduced a year ago a remanufacturing service model. It's a comprehensive model that offers engineering, remanufacturing, and logistics services designed to support the service model for automotive or vehicle electronics. The solution is called Reman 8.0, and as you'll hear more about that later, we introduced it a year ago at the Apex show, and we're excited about going back there again this year. Before we get into telling you more about the company and also Reman 8.0, let me touch on a few of the trends that are impacting this part of our business. The first is growth in vehicle electronics. It's touching at this point nearly every aspect of the vehicle: infotainment, telematics, driver comfort, safety, convenience, and the list goes on and on. In total, there's 30 or more electronic control units in most of today's cars, and that trend is expected to continue to grow. Another important trend is the average age of vehicles on the road. And according to many sources, the average age of the vehicle fleet in the U.S. Has grown from 9.9 years in 2006 to well over 11 years. Our study showed 11.4 years in 2014. And in some cases, the reports are even higher. And I should stress, by the way, that's the average 11.4, not the life cycle, that's the average. Another trend we need to look at is, by contrast, is the technology curve for electronics, which is getting shorter and shorter. And for consumer products like cell phones and laptop computers, the owners simply trade in the old model and replace it with one of the new ones. For automotive parts, though, that's simply not going to work. In most cases, the electronic control unit used in a new car is not going to fit or function or solve the service problem in the old vehicle. You basically need the original design in order to fix the old car. And you can probably imagine, for electronics in particular, sustaining production capability for those older electronics is increasingly difficult, it's very costly, and in some cases simply not practical. That's where remanufacturing comes in. Remanufacturing is a cost-effective solution for vehicle electronics for the life of the vehicle. Let's look at another trend, is the convergence of telecommunications technologies and connectivity with automotive. By some reports, the connected vehicle market is expected to grow by 34% per year over through the end of this decade, and some estimates are even higher. The push for connectivity is not only converging in terms of technologies, but it's also impacting the companies in the sector. Traditional company players in telecom and consumer products like Microsoft or Verizon are moving into automotive, and companies like GM are offering 4G LTE connectivity as a standard feature in many new models. CTDI is one of the companies that's well positioned to help support this trend or address it from an automotive service perspective. We've been in business now for 39 years. We have a long legacy of of doing work with large customers in communications, consumer products, and also in connectivity. We understand all forms of communication technologies. We understand the hardware, and we know how to support the reman services. Now let's look at the car care network. The service challenge associated with electronics is particularly significant for the independents, which now make up about 3 out of every 4 out-of-warranty repairs. In many cases, they don't have the same access to service information, maybe diagnostic tools, or even parts that their OE counterparts have, but nonetheless, they're the preferred option for most folks when they're getting their car fixed out of the warranty period. And then now let's move on. We'll take a look at the automotive ecosystem. And what needs to happen, particularly with the aging of cars, the increase of vehicle electronics, the complexity of making the service, is that the independent shops in particular need to be equipped with the diagnostic tools, training, service information, and most importantly, the parts. And in the case of CTDI, we're talking about vehicle electronics. And as we mentioned, that in terms of vehicle electronics, oftentimes as the parts age, the only cost-effective solution is reman. CTDI is well positioned to support that market with a myriad of different services that we're going to touch on here in just a moment. With that, I want to turn it over to Joe Bendinelli. Joe's going to give you a quick overview of the company and touch on the 8.0 service model.
Thanks, Mark. As Mark mentioned, CTDI is 39 years old. We will be celebrating our 40th year next March, so we're very proud of that. We have over 8,000 employees globally. Our roots are in electronics remanufacturing and more specifically within the communications industry. Over the last 5 years, we've been focused on taking our infrastructure of facilities and services and applying them to the automotive industry. We have an excellent client list of many Fortune 100 companies, and we have over 70 operating locations in 15 countries. The company is a family-owned business founded by Mr. Donald F. Parsons. We currently have 5 divisions. We have our Network Services Division, our Network Deployment Solutions Division, our Product Supply Division, and our Set-Top Box Customer Prem Equipment Division. And of course, our Automotive Services Division is, as I said, one of our newest divisions, focusing on services within the vehicle industry, vehicle manufacturers and Tier 1 service providers, as well as the independent aftermarket.
I just want to add here that each of these divisions, we build upon our competencies within that service sector. So the automotive division is building upon our experience in test engineering expertise in network engineering, network deployment, etc. So that's how we're getting into space. We're leveraging our technical and applying this to automotive electronics.
Excellent point. Our foundation is truly our technical competencies around electronics. As Mark mentioned, last year we kicked off our Reman 8.0 service solution to the auto industry by exhibiting at Apex. We're really excited about exhibiting again this year, and certainly if any of you on the call would like to visit or schedule some additional time to meet with any of our senior management, please feel free to do that. Our booth this year is booth number 4475.
And it's in the Reman Pavilion.
Thank you. Yep, in the Reman Pavilion.
Thanks, Joe. Now we're going to finish off the presentation with a quick look at Reman 8.0, and then we'll look at 3 case studies or examples of the kind of progress we've made since introducing the model at last year's Apex show. Let me begin by saying Reman 8.0, again, it's an end-to-end service model. There wasn't a 7.0. There probably won't be an 8.1. It's really just a name we wanted to give it. With a company, we generally like to have an identifier or a name for our test equipment, for our services, and for our products. In this case, we have 8 discrete services making up this comprehensive model. Jerry Parsons, our CEO, liked the identifier Remain 8.0 the best. The foundation of this 8-point model is advanced electronics remanufacturing. That's really our core competency. We have across the divisions and across the globe, we'll perform over 8 million board-level repairs this year. These are electronic board-level repairs. That's supported by our world-class engineering and test development. In most cases, we provide a turnkey solution with designing, fabricating, and qualifying the test equipment for many of our customers. That's all done in-house. Comprehensive warranty administration. It could be as simple as managing the in and out of warranty process, or extend all the way down to component-level root cause analysis at the point of collection, whatever specified by our customer. The global network, we have a number of customers that in the auto industry, particularly the VMs and the Tier 1s that operate on a global level, we're able to bring to them a global footprint to support their business in different regions. High velocity forward and reverse logistics and dynamic inventory management make up numbers 4 and 5. I'm sorry, it's 5 and 6. And essentially, it's the supply chain. And for many of our customers, it's a hands-free approach. We handle everything from component sourcing and procurement, inventory, all outbound, inbound logistics, and core collection. And in many cases, they don't have to touch the product. The 7th item is innovative service solutions. I'm going to show you an example of that. And essentially, it's particularly applied to those cases where we have end-of-life challenges. Maybe it's a board-level component, or there's simply there's no ability to keep making the new part. And then finally, customized web-based IT systems. We call it ETOS. That's our customer-facing web point. I will show you an example where we applied that with one of our global customers. And then, of course, everything is focused on the customer. It's an 8-point model. It's a menu. They get to pick and choose. They could start small with a few of the services, and ultimately, if they want to grow over time, to get an 8-point encompassing solution. So let me look at, we'll look at 3 quick examples here. The first one is an audio remand case study, and it, I can't see the chart there. This is a case study or an example of all 8 points being deployed for a Tier 1 infotainment systems manufacturer. We are supporting through them a prominent motorcycle manufacturer with a global network of 1,600 dealers in 90 countries. The model includes everything, in particular direct exchange, warranty analysis, remand, and all inventory management services. Everything is bundled together with a web-based order entry and order tracking system with secure credit card transactions, and it's also supported by 21 different languages. The picture on the top right is one of the workbenches from the operation, which happens to be in Lebanon, Tennessee, near Nashville, and then the picture on the bottom right is just one of the screenshots of the web-based IT system. It's a secure portal that designed to customer requirements. It's developed and maintained by CTDI.
One other thing, that test system is developed by CTI engineers, like you said, test and fabricated by us.
Yeah, this is a case where there was no upfront cost to this particular customer for engineering, equipment and tooling, or IT, which is our typical model. Let's look at another case study. This next one is a service parts solution for an automotive electronic module. This was a case where the 4 of the board-level components, and you see those highlighted in the picture on the right, had gone end of life. They were no longer available in the component supply market, and because of that, they simply couldn't keep producing the new part. In this situation, this is a relatively older vehicle. It's a pickup truck, and no one had been collecting cores, so remanufacturing was going to be a challenge. The customer needed a new part solution They came to us. One of the things we weren't able to get was the technical information, or much of it, including the microcontroller source code, the schematics, and a few other things just simply weren't available. We brought to bear our engineering expertise. We came forward with a design solution. We've sourced the components. We completed the design. And by the way, this is going to be for a new part production program. So we will be selling new modules that address this end-of-life challenge. The last case study is simply goes back to the global network. As you know, many of our customers are tier ones and vehicle manufacturers. In some cases, they take our products forward or services into the independent aftermarket as well. And the key, one of our key selling features is the global network. We now have automotive remanufacturing services supported out of 9 facilities globally. We're operating in 3 major regions, and we have several customers taking advantage of that footprint now outside of North America as well as North America. So those are 3 case studies. We were going to now turn it over to the Q&A section.
Mark, I guess I would ask, where do you see Reman 8.0 taking the industry in terms of electronics and remanufacturing?
Through our customer meetings, I would say pretty much all 8 of the points are appealing and of interest. In particular, the global footprint. We've got a number of customers. Of course, they're in some cases selling essentially the same product, for in-vehicle fitment in multiple regions. Automotive likes to have standardization of their processes, and we're one of the few companies, I think, that can provide them with a global footprint. Another one is with the growth of electronics in the vehicle with 30 or more modules, not all of those are high-value items. Some of those are relatively, maybe in the mid, $50s or $60 range, and parts that in the past were not economically viable to remanufacture. We're finding with some of our customers, we're able to push down that point of the economic point to make remanufacturing a viable solution, even for some of the less prominent modules in the vehicle. Many of the customers we talk with have desks full of parts that are service challenged because of end of life. So I think it's really going to be all 8 things. Honestly, I think whether it's provided by CTDI or other companies, I think these services are going to be increasingly important as, again, the vehicles age, there's more electronics. We've only begun to see this end-of-life challenge. I think it's going to hit it's already hitting the warranty channel pretty hard, and it's going to hit the independent aftermarket channel hard as well, very quickly, if not already. One other comment. I mentioned that end-to-end service model case study. That's an example where the IT system that we provide, which really is ETOS, which touches pretty much every part of the value stream, is something that the customers needed. The previous provider had a system, but it was somewhat cumbersome. It's our understanding that the vast majority of the orders were placed by phone. It becomes inconvenient when the call center is only operating for certain hours of the day. The language barrier adds another complexity. And it also, with that voice communication, it introduces a lot of elements of error. And our online system, which was designed in conjunction with our customer, really to meet all of their expectations and specifications, and in fact with their customers' input as well. We are seeing 99.9% of the orders are now placed essentially in an error-free manner. They're placed online. They're instantaneously visible in the system, and they're easily tracked.
Mark, I know that the older vehicles are a bit of a challenge to service, and I think, as you have pointed out in the past, those vehicles, a new part simply won't do the repair. Is that correct?
Yeah, first of all, it's probably unlikely to fit, and whether it can be housed or packaged in the vehicle, the connections probably won't match. Even if you could get it connected up, the communication protocols, whether it be MOST or CAN or various other communications, probably have evolved over time. I mean, it's just simply it's going to be a square peg in a round hole. It's not going to work. And as I mentioned, the cost of producing that same old part with the older electronic components, if you can find them, gets exorbitantly expensive. And that's, again, where Reman and why CTDI is so interested and committed to the auto industry.
I just want to let folks know that CTDI will be at Apex at booth number 4475, and Mark will be available for one-on-one interviews. And I do want to let you know that Jerry Parsons, who's CTDI's chairman and CEO, he will be at Apex all day on Tuesday and on Wednesday morning. I know that he did several interviews last year, and Jerry would love to do that again, so he is available as well. What you just simply need to do is contact me or Leslie Allen, our PR manager, and we'll help make those arrangements for you. I know this is a busy time of the year for everybody as they're getting ready for the shows, and I want to thank you for joining us today, and certainly I do hope that we have the opportunity to talk further and really dive deeper into this whole subject of vehicle electronics. So on behalf of the Marks Group and CTDI, I want to thank you for joining us today, and have a great day.